Hi, friends. Today I want to tell you my experience of quitting coffee, why I did it, what happened during the process, and how I'm going at the moment. So, today I'm celebrating 1 month without coffee, which is a huge achievement for me, as I never imagined myself doing that. I drank coffee my whole life. Every now and then, I will give it a break during my travels or when I go to a place and they don't have coffee there. And I immediately would get a headache. And it was always really hard for me to give up coffee, even though I was not a big coffee drinker. So I would only have 1 cup of coffee in the morning, and sometimes I'll have 1 more cup in the afternoon. So that's all, 1 to 2 coffees a day, regularly, every day for past 10 years. And why I decided to quit, the main reason for that was that I started to experience sleep issues. So I will wake up at 3 a.m. and struggle to go back to sleep. It got so bad, especially during stressful times. So whenever I feel like I'm under a little bit of stress or a challenging chapter of my life, it would be really hard for me to actually have a good quality of sleep. And then I will feel basically like broken the next day, and I will feel miserable in the morning, and I need another cup of coffee to just feel okay and function again throughout the day. So it's a vicious cycle of I'm quitting coffee. I can't start feeling good without coffee, but I can't really quit coffee because every day I feel tired and I need coffee to just function and to have a normal day, and yeah, to not die. I did not have any energy throughout the day. So yeah, it got to a point that I sort of realized that I'm relying on it heavily, and it's a much bigger picture than I thought when I decided to quit. So I thought, okay, maybe I will just give it a go. I will go 5 days without coffee, and let's see how I go. I'll tell myself this story, and then the first day I tried to go without coffee. I basically almost collapsed. I had horrible headache, and as far as I remember now, it was a really challenging day for me. I don't know how I survived, and I didn't even take paracetamol. Now I'm thinking I should have, especially on the first day, but I was not working during that time, and it was easier for me to do it because I was not working. So on the second day, it was even harder. Then on the third day, the way I felt, it got just impossible to handle. Like, I was so tired, I was super stressed, I was agitated, I was snapping at my partner, I was snapping at people on the street. I was just like really angry and stressed. Yeah, like the level of anxiety I've had. I mean, I quit coffee. I'm supposed to feel good, right? Isn't it what it's all about? That's what I thought. And I didn't. That was very unfortunate. And I expected much better outcome. So on day number 3, I had coffee. I couldn't go without it, and immediately I had this pumping headache. I remember I was sitting in a cafe with my partner. We were having breakfast, and I was just struggling with this huge headache, and I realized that it's either we're going to break up now because I'm not a nice person to be around, and or I don't know, or I will probably just pass away. But like, it was just too hard to handle. So I ordered a cappuccino, and it was the best cappuccino of my life because immediately, straight after, 10 minutes in, my headache was gone. I immediately felt good. I I become a nice person. I become so nice and cheerful and happy. So that was shocking. That was shocking to me because I immediately regretted actually ordering that cup of coffee. And I realized that at that moment, if before quitting coffee and while I was thinking about quitting coffee, I was always thinking that, hey, I probably could just quit coffee. I'm a very disciplined person. I have a lot of willpower. Maybe I can just quit coffee. And I did not think it could be such an issue, such a big problem for me, and it could give me so much inconvenience. And yeah, so I realized straight after I've had that cappuccino, straight after that, my very first cup of coffee in 3 days, I've realized how much I'm actually addicted to it. And I think it does not make an addiction is an addiction. And when I'm thinking about it, yes, people drink alcohol, take drugs, and there are other things, but coffee is still an addiction. And the only perimeter at which coffee is, it's altering our brain and it's changing who I am. It's changing who I am as a person, and that tells me that it's not black and white. So if, like, obviously alcohol and drugs are bad for you, you can see immediately why. With coffee, it's a bit more subtle, but it still does the damage. And the damage that it was doing to me is that I completely changed personalities when I was on coffee and off coffee. So I started to look into it more, and I read a book called Caffeine Addict. I actually listened to it wherever I'll go. And it's basically a combination of stories of people that were on coffees. And the addiction got so bad that it led to some destructive behaviors in their life. And something bad has happened as an outcome of that caffeine addiction. I educated myself further on this subject of coffee, and I realized that coffee is nowhere, it's probably on a social scale, it's a bit more acceptable addiction, but it's actually a really, really dangerous addiction as well, alongside alcohol or anything else as far as addiction goes. And during that time, while I was educating myself on it, I was still drinking coffee. So I actually started to educate myself on caffeine addiction way before I decided to quit. I wanted to quit, but I could never do it. So I decided that I can brainwash myself into it. If I can brainwash myself thinking some catastrophic event is going to happen, then I can definitely brainwash myself to quitting coffee. So I listened to a few more audiobooks. I can drop them as a resources below, and you can also listen to it. And I decided to understand what's happening physiologically in my body. And what actually happens is, when your brain used to getting caffeine on a daily basis, it alerts a part of your brain that is responsible essentially for GABA production. GABA, you may have seen a GABA supplement, but GABA, our brain naturally produces. Long story short, I'm really altering it to a short story, but essentially it alters our brain and it suppresses the part of our brain that tells us that we are tired. So, coffee essentially does not give us more energy, it just tells our brain that we are not tired. And what happens to a brain that never feels tired? It still feels tired, right? Like, you would still, in your body, you will still be tired. And you may have noticed when you have a coffee and you feel good for maybe an hour or two, and then the crash happens. So you feel more after you have coffee in a few hours once the caffeine is out of your bloodstream. And why it's so hard to quit is because we alter our brain to get this drug that has so much that plays such a huge part in how our brain functions. And that's why, as I was reading this all and educating myself, I was sort of opening up myself and my eyes into actually what's going on. And the more I learned about it, the more I understood that this is a real drug. This is a real drug. It anything that changes your brain chemistry, anything that alters your brain, anything that I mean everything, even food changes our brain chemistry, of course. Like if you have with more carbs, there are also some chemical reactions happen, for example, right? I suppose to like sugar and other things. We'll talk about it in the next video. But today, talking about coffee, it alters your brain, and then it takes a while. It's not dangerous or harmful in moderation, but regular use, and I was a regular user of coffee for many, many years. So that means that when my brain has brain state, the original state of my brain, like brain state, that baseline system and everything should be working as it's supposed to, it took a while to actually to do that for my brain. And withdrawals were horrible. Withdrawals were so bad that I couldn't really function for the first week. So going back to that story, I had my coffee, and later I learned that if you want to quit coffee, it's better to do it gradually because of the withdrawals and how your body reacts a caffeine withdrawal. If you just cut out cold turkey the way I did, it basically brings his whole system in shock. So, if you want to cut coffee and you have the desire to live caffeine-free life, and you right now know that I don't know, you're drinking soft drinks, for example, lots of soft drinks, they have caffeine, and you're drinking coffee, really, it's better if you gradually reduce the amount of caffeine you take. For example, you can start at a cafe, you can start asking for, usually I think the regular Starbucks coffee portion is like 2.5 shots or something like that. You can start asking for just one shot, go that, like, see how that goes for you for a few days. Then let's say in a few days you can have just half a shot, and then you can go, I don't know, 1/3. But it's a faster process to detoxify with coffee, right? Because essentially when you cold turkey, then your system realizes that it cannot get any more coffee, and it starts to rearrange itself. And yeah, then you can have coffee every other day, for example, one shot of coffee once every few days. You can alternate one day with coffee, one day without coffee, and gradually you will train your brain that it's actually able to function without coffee. I'm not saying that your withdrawals won't be as bad, but there will be definitely less like coming at you all at once. I think a lot of people can quit coffee because of the withdrawal symptoms, because it's so hard to come off coffee and to actually survive the first few weeks of it. It's funny because you're thinking that you're doing the right thing, right? You're cutting something out of your system, but for our bodies and for our brain, it's a big shock to when you do it straight away, when you do it cold turkey. So I recommend you take some time to actually gradually reduce your coffee intake, and then on the days that you don't take coffee, you have to expect that you will be more agitated, you will be more anxious, you will have to face your tiredness. So that was a big one for me. I couldn't really understand what is it I couldn't handle. And essentially, it was my tiredness. So I could not handle being tired. I had to teach myself, and someone gave me this example, and I really liked it. When you were a kid and you had to wake up for school, sometimes 7 a.m., sometimes 8 a.m., it was early. You didn't want to go to school. In my case, I was in Siberia, it was cold, I didn't even want to get out of my bed. But I still had to do it, right? And I remember the first half a day until about 11, 12 p.m. I'll just be like so like sluggish and tired and sleepy. And this is normal. Like, it's normal to feel tired. I know it sounds like, oh, you can just have coffee and not feel tired. But the reality is everything is give and take. You can't give something to your body and then expect it to never pay back. There is always payback for everything you do in life. always, especially physiologically. So I realized that the hardest thing for me was to actually see myself as a tired person. Like, I am tired right now. What does that mean? I need to rest. So I recommend you take slow on the first few days when you quit coffee. On the first few weeks, I would even say, first couple of weeks are the hardest. First week is the hardest. Second week it gets a lot better, but it's still not 100%. The other thing, I expected my sleep to just bounce back to normal. I thought that, hey, I'm quitting coffee, I'm doing a good thing now, so my sleep should just go perfectly normal and I should get my 8 hours of sleep. I should just fall asleep fast and wake up refreshed. And when that did not happen in the first week, I was just a little bit upset. In fact, my sleep got worse. I would wake up at 4 a.m. instead of waking up at 3 a.m. sleep. So it was a roller coaster, and I was really angry and disappointed, and I thought, hey, I'm doing a good thing here, quitting coffee, but my body just does not want to improve it too. And that's a difference in mindset that I had to make, because as an adult, I think, as all we are as adults, we're used to just persevere and push through the hard days. So sometimes you're sick, you still go to work. You're tired, you're still pushing through the day. You're not feeling too well, you'll still probably do 80% of what you're supposed to do today, right? And I could see how much I actually stopped listening to my own body, because my body tells me exactly what it needs. If it needs more sleep, if it needs more rest, if it needs more calming activities. And I'm so used to just pushing and pushing and go fast, not paying attention to my own body, especially when I'm tired, and just instead taking a cup of cappuccino, a latte, and yeah, and feeling good, and immediately bouncing to normal and just push more. So that's very unhealthy relationship that I have with my body, and I realized it during this time, and I knew that I had to change something here, because if I don't, then I probably will collect other health issues down the track. Because if I don't listen to my body, it only what it does, it just speaks louder. So it speaks louder in a form of other health condition. And that mindset shift that I had to make, that hey, if I'm tired, it's probably my body tells me that I need to rest. And I know not everyone can do it, but I highly recommend that you also start looking at your life. And coffee is such a it's such a catalyzer for a lot of other changes in lifestyle that I had to make. Because coffee, fundamentally, I still like, it's such a socially accepted drug. And if I don't drink coffee, then what do I do in my life, right? Like, how do I push through 18-hour day if I don't drink coffee? I'm joking, I don't do 18 hours day anymore. But still, I need to work, and I have commitments, and I need to be active and alert, and all things considered, how do I do it without coffee, right? And that's something that I had to teach myself during this month. It actually hasn't been that bad. 2 weeks after quitting coffee, I realized that my brain does not necessarily go back to it. And my cravings have subsided, and I feel a lot more calm, and I'm not as anxious anymore. And my daily ritual, which is the most important thing here, because I felt like coffee was giving me this ritual to do more things, to just like have space and have time to myself. And when I was having a cup of coffee, and it just gave me that sort of like I'm capable of anything type of feeling. But once coffee stopped working, I actually realized I have limits of what I can do and what I can't do, right? In terms of my ritual, I had to replace it with non caffeinated teas. I know some teas are way more caffeinated than the coffee. So, of course, when I say I quit caffeine, everything coffee, teas, soft drinks, nothing stimulating. Even there is caffeine in cacao. So, I had to, in the first week, I've noticed I had a little bit more dark chocolate. I mean, it's nowhere close to how much cacao in coffee, but still, that's something that I had to cut out because I want my system to be clean and I wanted my system to completely reset itself. So, coffee is out of my system by week 3 approximately. My sleep started to improve and I expected a lot quicker. I read in a lot of these articles while I was educating myself on caffeine that your sleep should just bounce back by week 2. You should sleep like a baby, see dreams with unicorns. That was not the case for me. My sleep crashed in the first 2 weeks, and by week 3, I started to experience a slight improvement, but I wouldn't say it was just back to normal or it was a lot better. But then slowly, incrementally, day by day, it started to get better. So my sleep got better. I definitely feel less energy spikes throughout the day when you're in the morning, when you wake up and have a cup of coffee and you're just like extra hyper vigilant, extra alert, and can take on the world. But then 3 hours later it's just like I don't have that motivation anymore. Now I feel like my energy throughout the day is more steady, like I can do anything pretty much at 12 p.m, 1 p.m, 2 p.m, 3 p.m, 4 p.m. I don't feel like this energy crashes. In saying that, in the first few weeks I felt extremely tired in the morning, not normal level of tired, but it improved. So I stay there, hang in there. It definitely is going to improve for you too. And I'd say by approximately week 3, I most of my symptoms were gone, like withdrawal symptoms were gone. The only thing left was how sometimes I really enjoyed that cup of coffee. I used coffee. I know that a lot of people have like digestive problems and a lot of people have like gut issues when people are using coffee to go to the bathroom. It's a big thing. I know that, of course, because it stresses everything and you have coffee on an empty stomach, which you're never supposed to do, it rushes everything through your system and it just you can have a better bowel movement, let's just say that, in the morning. And I used to whenever I would have coffee, I used to get that. And again, that's something that I had to change as well, right? I had to look at my system as a whole and see how else I can achieve that. And I think overall my life without coffee is so much better. I definitely recommend anyone looking at doing a change. And I also feel like it gave me so much more confidence in myself that, hey, I can do it. Like, I can go 1 month without coffee. It's just a feeling of that I got with going being on coffee. And when I have that first sip of coffee in the morning and I feel like I could do anything, now I feel like that confidence comes with actually being off coffee. And I feel like, hey, I can take control of my health. I can actually program my brain. I can brainwash my brain to success and to have more willpower, especially in the first few days of that were really hard. And if you're doing this, I recommend that you don't schedule any important activities, anything extra mental stimulating. Maybe do it while you're on vacation or do it while you have more free time, because it is hard if you're relying on coffee as a stimulant to help you to get work done and you have commitments. It's really hard because you're sort of learning to live in a completely new way. It's not just about coffee, it's a new way of life, it's a new way of listening to your body, it's a new way of actually organizing yourself. Also, working with some of those feelings. Coffee sometimes suppresses, like feeling tired, feel unmotivated, I don't know, lonely, depending when you drink coffee, like if you only drink it in social setting. Yeah, and that also being able to say no as well. So there is a lot of things like with any addiction that comes to it that you need to look at holistically. And it's not just giving up coffee, because if it was just giving up coffee, then anyone could do it. And there were not, then there wouldn't be so many people addicted to it. It's a worldwide addiction, and millions of people have this problem, and not a lot of people able to give coffee. And yeah, I just think that you're very brave that you're even thinking about it. And I know that if I was able to do it, and I don't know how, I think that you will be able to do it too. I hope that this was useful. Stay here, there will be a lot more useful tips. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.